Hi, everyone. Quick one for you. Make sure you subscribe and like before we start. Thank you. I watch her across the table laughing, her eyes sparkling under the dim light. The wine has loosened us all, the conversation flowing freely. It's a small gathering, just four of us, old friends catching up after too long apart. Someone suggests playing Never Have I Ever. It's harmless fun, right? We've all had a few drinks by now. Sarah, my wife, is sitting beside me, a flush of red on her cheeks from the alcohol. She seems relaxed, happier than she's been in weeks. I smile at her, thinking maybe tonight will be different. Maybe tonight, the tension between us will ease. The game starts off light. Someone confesses they've never skipped work for a hangover. Another admits they've never stolen anything. Laughter echoes through the room, the kind that comes easily when the stakes are low. Then it's Sarah's turn. Never have I ever cheated on my husband, she says, her voice steady, but her eyes flicker toward me. She takes a shot, swallowing hard. My smile falters, just for a second. There's a murmur of surprise, but it quickly passes as the game moves on. But something inside me twists. I lean back in my chair, the room blurring slightly as the alcohol surges through my veins. The words tumble out before I can stop them. Bold and reckless. Cheating is fun. I've done it multiple times, I say, raising my glass in mock celebration. My voice sounds strange to my own ears, too loud, too careless. The room goes silent. All eyes are on me now. Sarah's face goes pale, her hand still clutching the empty shot glass. The laughter dies instantly, replaced by a thick, uncomfortable silence. I've made a joke of it, but the words hang in the air, heavy and undeniable. I expect anger from her, maybe tears. But she doesn't give me either. Instead, she smiles, a small, cold smile that sends a chill down my spine. She doesn't say anything, just leans back and watches me, her eyes hard and unreadable. My heart pounds. I've never seen that look on her face before. It's like she's seeing right through me, and what she sees isn't good. The alcohol dulls the edges of my fear, but it's still there, gnawing at the back of my mind. I've crossed a line, and I can't take it back. The game continues, but I barely hear the words. My thoughts are spinning. The room feels stifling. Sarah's quiet, too quiet. She doesn't look at me for the rest of the night, and that silence is worse than any words she could have said. We leave the party early. The ride home is silent, the tension between us thick and suffocating. I know I've screwed up. What I don't know is how much I've just set in motion. Something in her has shifted, and I can feel it in my bones. She's planning something I won't see coming until it's too late. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of water running in the bathroom. Sarah is already up, showering. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, the events of last night swirling in my mind. I shouldn't have said what I did. Hell, I don't even know why I said it. Maybe I wanted to shock her, to make her feel something after all these years of drifting apart. But instead of getting a reaction, I got that icy smile. And now I can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. When she comes out of the bathroom, she's wrapped in a towel, her hair wet and slicked back. She doesn't look at me as she walks to the closet. The silence between us is thick, almost suffocating. I finally sit up, running a hand through my hair. Sarah, about last night. Don't, she interrupts, her voice cold and detached. We both know what you said. There's nothing more to discuss. I flinch at the sharpness in her tone. She's never spoken to me like this before, not even during our worst fights. I watch her as she gets dressed, every movement precise and controlled. I want to say something, anything, to break this wall she's put up, but the words stick in my throat. You were right about one thing, though, she says suddenly, turning to face me. Her eyes are dark, unreadable. I haven't cheated on you. Until now. My heart skips a beat. What do you mean? She doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she walks over to the bed and sits down next to me, close enough that I can smell the soap on her skin. She leans in, her lips brushing against my ear, as she whispers, I've been sleeping with someone else. For months. My blood turns to ice. I pull back, staring at her in disbelief. You're lying. She tilts her head, giving me that same cold smile from last night. Why would I lie? You wanted a reaction, didn't you? Well, here it is. I can't breathe. My chest tightens as I try to process her words. This isn't real. This can't be happening. But the look on her face tells me it's true. Every word. Who? I choke out. Who is it? She stands up, brushing a hand through her wet hair. Does it matter? You've already admitted to cheating multiple times. Consider this payback. I stare at her, my mind reeling. Anger, fear, and disbelief clash inside me, leaving me paralyzed. I've always been the one in control, the one with the upper hand. But now she's flipped the script, and I have no idea what to do. You can't just walk away from this, I say, my voice shaking with a mix of rage and desperation. You think you can just throw this in my face and leave? I won't let you. She turns to face me, her expression unreadable. You don't have a choice, darling. I'm leaving. And I'm taking everything. What the hell are you talking about? My voice is louder now, the anger rising to the surface. You can't just take everything. We're married. Half of everything is mine. She laughs softly, a sound that chills me to the bone. You really think that? After everything you've done? After all the lies, the betrayals? She steps closer, her eyes boring into mine. I'm going to ruin you, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. Panic surges through me, hot and overwhelming. You can't do this. I won't let you. She smirks. You're going to try to stop me? Go ahead. I've been planning this for months, ever since I found out about your little affairs. You think I didn't know? You think I didn't see the signs? She shakes her head almost pityingly. You were so careless, so arrogant, and now you're going to pay. I feel like I'm drowning, the ground slipping out from under me. I've always been the one in control, but now I'm completely helpless. My mind races, trying to think of a way out, but I come up empty. She's thought of everything, planned every detail. I'm going to take the house, the cars, everything, and I'm going to take your reputation too, she says, her voice calm, almost clinical. I've already started leaking information about your affairs to the press. By the time I'm done, everyone will know what kind of man you really are. I stare at her, the horror of her words sinking in. My reputation is everything. It's what I've built my entire life around. And now she's going to destroy it. She's going to destroy me. No, I say, my voice barely more than a whisper. You can't do this. She tilts her head, studying me like a predator sizing up its prey. Watch me. For a moment, I'm too stunned to move, too stunned to even think. Then something snaps inside me. Rage floods my veins, blinding and all-consuming. I lunge at her, grabbing her by the arm, my grip tight and unyielding. You think you can just ruin my life and walk away? I hiss, my face inches from hers. You think I'll let you get away with this? She doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink. Instead, she stares back at me, her gaze cold and unfeeling. You don't have a choice. I'm leaving you, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is what you deserve. Her words hit me like a sledgehammer, knocking the wind out of me. I release her arm, stumbling back as the weight of her betrayal crashes down on me. She's right. I've brought this on myself, my arrogance, my infidelity. It's all led to this moment. And now I'm about to lose everything. But I can't let her win. I won't let her win. You think you're so clever, don't you? I say, my voice low and dangerous. You think you've outsmarted me, but you're wrong. I'm not going down without a fight. She raises an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. Is that a threat? It's a promise, I say, my fist clenched at my sides. You want to play dirty? Fine. I'll show you just how dirty I can play. For the first time, I see a flicker of uncertainty in her eye. Oh, sorry, her eyes. It's small, barely noticeable, but it's there, and it gives me hope, however fleeting. I've always known you were a bastard, she says, her voice shaking slightly, but I never thought you'd stoop this low. I step closer, towering over her. You haven't seen anything yet. She stares at me, her eyes wide, with a mixture of fear and defiance. Then, without another word, she turns and walks out of the room, leaving me standing there. Seething with rage, the door slams shut behind her, the sound echoing through the empty house. I'm left alone, my thoughts spinning out of control. I know I need to act fast. If she's already started leaking information to the press, I'm in serious trouble. My reputation could be ruined in a matter of hours. I grab my phone and start making calls. First my lawyer, then my publicist. I need to get ahead of this before it spirals out of control. I need to find a way to stop her, but even as I'm dialing the numbers, a nagging doubt creeps into my mind. What if it's already too late? What if she's already destroyed everything I've worked so hard to build? I push the thought away, focusing on the task at hand. I won't let her beat me. I won't let her take everything from me. I've always been a fighter, and I'm not about to give up now. As the phone rings in my ear, I pace the room, my mind racing with possibilities. There has to be a way out of this. There has to be a way to turn the tables on her. Then it hits me. A dark, twisted idea that sends a shiver down my spine. What if I expose her first? What if I dig up something from her past? Something so damaging that it overshadows anything she could say about me? I know there's something. Everyone has skeletons in their closet, and Sarah is no exception. I just need to find it. I just need to destroy her before she destroys me. As the call connects, I make up my mind. This is war. And in war, there are no rules, no limits. I'll do whatever it takes to win. Get me everything you can on Sarah, I say into the phone, my voice cold and steady. I don't care what it is, just find it. There's a pause on the other end of the line, then my lawyer speaks. Are you sure about this? It could get ugly. I'm counting on it, I reply, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. As I hang up the phone, a grim determination settles over me. I've made my move. Now it's her turn. But this time I'll be ready. This time, I'll be the one with the upper hand. Or so I think. The days after Sarah's confession blur together in a haze of phone calls, emails, and meetings. I barely sleep, barely eat. My lawyer, Bill, assures me he's on top of things, but his voice is always edged with doubt. He knows this is bad, worse than anything we've dealt with before. Sarah is ruthless, and she's playing this perfectly. The media frenzy hits fast and hard. The story of my supposed affairs is plastered across every tabloid, every gossip site. They dig up old photos, twist facts, fabricate stories. I knew Sarah had connections in the media, but I never realized how deep they ran. She's positioned herself as the wronged wife, and the world is eating it up. Damage control, Bill says during one of our frantic meetings. We need to spin this in your favor, or at least neutralize it. How, I ask, my voice hoarse from lack of sleep. She's got everything lined up. I'm the villain in this story. Bill leans back, running a hand through his thinning hair. We focus on the good you've done, charity work, business, successes. We paint you as a man who made mistakes but is fundamentally good. I laugh bitterly. That's not going to work. Not with what's out there now. We don't have much of a choice, he says, frustration creeping into his voice. Unless you've got something on her, something big, we're stuck playing defense. I think about the dark secret I'd uncovered from Sarah's past. A decade ago, she was involved in a scandal, a quiet one buried under layers of non-disclosure agreements and payoffs. She was part of an investment group that swindled a lot of money from unsuspecting clients. She got out before it all blew up, but her name was on some of the documents. If I leak that, it could ruin her. But there's a risk. If it backfires, it could destroy both of us. Still, it might be my only shot. Find out everything you can about her connections in the media, I tell Bill. I want to know who she's working with. And I want dirt on them, too. He nods, understanding the shift in my tone. We're going on the offensive. It's dangerous, but at this point, I'm desperate. The first attempt to manage the fallout fails miserably. My publicist releases a statement, carefully worded to express regret without admitting guilt, but it only adds fuel to the fire. The headlines twisted into a half-hearted apology, and the comments sections are filled with vitriol and insult. People love a scandal, and they've chosen sides, most of them against me. I start losing clients. A few discreetly pull out of deals, citing concerns about the ongoing situation. Some are more blunt, telling me they can't be associated with someone who's all over the news for the wrong reasons. My business is bleeding out, and I can't stop it. Friends start distancing themselves too. Invitations dry up. Calls go unanswered. Even the ones who stick around are wary, offering awkward support while clearly hoping the scandal won't rub off on them. I'm becoming toxic, and I know it. Sarah, meanwhile, is calm, composed. She's playing the part of the dignified, wronged woman to perfection. Every time I see her on the news, my blood boils. She's 2 steps ahead of me, and I'm floundering, struggling to keep up. It's not just the media and my business. At home, things are even worse. The atmosphere in the house is suffocating. Every interaction with Sarah is a battle. She's relentless, pushing me to the edge with her calm, calculated cruelty. One night, after a particularly brutal day of bad press and lost clients, I find her sitting in the living room, scrolling through her phone. She doesn't look up when I walk in. "Enjoying the show?" I ask, my voice thick with sarcasm. She finally glances at me, her expression unreadable. "What show?" "Don't play dumb, Sarah. You're loving every second of this." She shrugs, turning her attention back to her phone. "I'm doing what needs to be done." "Needs to be done?" I repeat, incredulous. "You're destroying me, and for what? Revenge? You think this makes us even?" She doesn't answer, just keeps scrolling. The silence stretches, taut and heavy. I feel the anger building, a storm I can't control. "You're going to lose everything too, you know," I continue, my voice rising. "You're not coming out of this unscathed." "Maybe," she says, finally looking up, "but I'll make sure you lose more." The calmness in her voice drives me to the brink. I step closer, towering over her. "You think you're untouchable, don't you? But I can destroy you too. I have enough on you to make sure you never work again. Never show your face in public." She meets my gaze, her eyes cold and unyielding. "Do it, if you think you can." For a moment, I'm tempted. I want to lash out, to hurt her as she's hurt me, but I know that's what she wants. She's baiting me, trying to push me into a move I can't take back. Instead, I turn and walk away, my hands shaking with barely controlled rage. She's trying to break me, and she's succeeding, but I won't give her the satisfaction of watching me crumble. The next day, I get a call from Bill. "She's filed for divorce," he says, his tone grim. "She's asking for everything. The house, the cars, the kids, and she's claiming you're unfit to have custody." I knew it was coming, but the words still hit me like a punch to the gut. "On what grounds?" "Volatile temper? History of infidelity." "She's painting you as unstable, untrustworthy." "Unstable?" I laugh bitterly. "She's the one who's been manipulating this whole thing. She's the one who's been planning this for months." "It doesn't matter," Bill says. "The court's going to see the media circus, the accusations, and they're going to side with her. Unless we can prove she's lying, you're going to lose everything." I sit down heavily, the weight of the situation pressing down on me. My business is in freefall, my reputation is in tatters, and now I'm about to lose my family too. Sarah has me cornered, and there's no easy way out. "I need to find something," I say, my voice barely more than a whisper. "Something that'll turn this around." "Do you have anything?" Bill asks. I think of the secret I've been holding on to, the one that could ruin Sarah if it came out. But it's risky, and if it doesn't work, it could blow up in my face. "I might," I say finally, "but it's a long shot." "Then you'd better take it," Bill says. "Because right now, it's the only shot you've got." I hang up, my mind racing. The walls are closing in, and I'm running out of options. I need to find something, anything that'll give me an edge. Because if I don't, Sarah's going to win, and I'll be left with nothing. I spend the next few days digging into Sarah's past, looking for anything I can use. I hire private investigators, comb through old files, call in favors from contacts I haven't spoken to in years. It's exhausting, but I'm driven by sheer desperation. I can't afford to lose. The tension at home reaches a breaking point. Every interaction with Sarah is charged, every conversation a minefield. She's careful, always a step ahead, never giving me anything I can use against her. But I can see the cracks starting to show. She's not as calm as she pretends to be. There's fear in her eyes just beneath the surface. One night, I come home late after a long meeting with Bill, trying to strategize our next move. The house is dark, silent. I head upstairs, expecting to find Sarah asleep, but instead I find her sitting on the edge of the bed, her back to me. She's holding something in her hands, something small and shiny. As I get closer, I realize it's a ring. Not just any ring, my wedding ring. She's holding it between her fingers, turning it over and over, as if studying it. "Sarah," I say, my voice cautious. She doesn't respond, just keeps turning the ring. The silence is thick, oppressive. "What are you doing?" I ask, a knot of unease tightening in my stomach. Finally, she speaks, her voice soft, almost wistful. "Do you remember when you gave this to me?" I nod, though she can't see me. "Of course. It was the happiest day of my life," she says, still not looking at me. "I thought we had everything. I thought you loved me." "I did," I say, my voice thick with emotion. "I do." She finally turns to face me, and the look in her eyes sends a shiver down my spine. There's sadness there, but also something else, something dark, something dangerous. "No," she says quietly. "You never loved me, not really. You loved the idea of me, the convenience of me, but you never loved me, the person." "Sarah, that's not true." "It is," she says, cutting me off. "And that's why I'm going to take everything from you. Because you took everything from me." She stands up, slipping the ring into her pocket. "You don't deserve this," she says, her voice cold and final. "You don't deserve anything." And with that, she walks past me, leaving me standing there, hollow and broken. I've lost her completely, and I know deep down that she's right. I never really loved her the way she deserved to be loved, and now I'm paying the price. The house is quiet when I get home, eerily so. The kids are at their grandparents' for the weekend, leaving just Sarah and me. I know she's here. Her car is in the driveway, but I don't hear a sound. The tension is palpable, like the air before a storm. I find her in the living room, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine in her hand. She doesn't look up as I enter. Her posture is relaxed, almost casual, but I can see the tightness in her grip on the glass. She's waiting for something. "Sarah," I say, my voice flat. "I'm too tired for games tonight. We need to talk." She finally looks up, her expression cool and unreadable. "About what? Haven't we said everything there is to say?" "No, we haven't," I reply, stepping closer. "This needs to stop. This war between us, it's destroying everything." She laughs, a short, bitter sound. "You're the one who started this, remember? You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it." My temper flares, but I force myself to stay calm. I'm not the only one who's made mistakes. We're both to blame for this mess. She sets the glass down, her eyes narrowing. "Is that supposed to make me feel better?" "Because it doesn't." "It's not about feeling better," I say, my voice hardening. "It's about figuring out how we move forward. You've taken this too far, Sarah. You're trying to ruin me, and for what? Revenge?" She stands up, crossing her arms. "What did you expect, Greg? You humiliated me, lied to me, cheated on me. Did you really think I'd just let that slide?" "No," I admit, stepping closer until we're only inches apart. "But I didn't think you'd turn into this cold, vindictive person." "This isn't you, Sarah." Her eyes flash with anger. "You don't know anything about me. Not anymore." I can feel the tension between us, a taut wire ready to snap. Maybe not, but I know that this is tearing us both apart. We're destroying each other, and for what? To prove a point? Her gaze flickers, and for a moment I see something in her eyes. Doubt, maybe. But then it's gone, replaced by the same steely resolve she's shown since this whole nightmare began. "This isn't about proving a point," she says, her voice low and dangerous. "It's about justice. You deserve to pay for what you've done." "And you think this is justice?" I ask, my voice rising. "Dragging our family through the mud, ruining our kids' lives, destroying everything we built together. This isn't justice, Sarah, it's revenge. Pure and simple. Maybe it is, she says, her tone defiant. But you know what? I don't care. You deserve everything that's coming to you. The anger that's been simmering beneath the surface finally boils over. And what about you, Sarah? What do you deserve? Because I've got plenty on you too. You think you're so righteous, so justified, but you're just as guilty as I am. She stiffens, her eyes narrowing. What are you talking about? I take a deep breath, knowing I'm about to cross a line I can't uncross. I know about the scandal from 10 years ago. The one you covered up, the one that could ruin you if it ever came out. Her face goes pale, and for the first time in weeks, I see real fear in her eyes. You wouldn't. Try me, I say, my voice cold and unwavering. You want to play dirty? Fine. But don't think for a second that I won't do whatever it takes to protect myself. For a moment, we just stand there, staring each other down, both of us breathing hard. The room feels like it's about to explode from the tension. Then something snaps inside her. She lunges at me. Ishoma lunges at me, shoving me back with all her strength. You bastard, she screams, her voice raw with fury. You think you can blackmail me? You think you can threaten me and get away with it? I stumble back, caught off guard by the sudden violence. But before I can react, she's on me, her fists pounding against my chest. You ruined my life, Greg. You ruined everything. And now you want to drag me down with you? I won't let you. Sarah, stop, I shout, grabbing her wrist to hold her back. You're not thinking straight. Let go of me, she shrieks, struggling against my grip. You don't get to tell me what to do anymore. You don't get to control me. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, and for a moment I'm frozen, staring into her wild, tear-filled eyes. This isn't the woman I married. This is someone else, someone consumed by rage and pain. And then, in the chaos of the moment, it hits me. The shocking realization that I've been blind to for too long. You never cheated on me, I say, my voice quiet, almost disbelieving. Did you? Her struggle stops abruptly, her eyes widening in shock. What? You never cheated on me, I repeat, more certain now. You made it up. You said it to hurt me, to make me feel what you were feeling. But it was all a lie, wasn't it? Her silence is answer enough. She pulls back, her body trembling, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and defiance. She starts, but the words die in her throat. I let go of her wrists, stepping back as the truth crashes over me like a tidal wave. Why, Sarah? Why would you do that? Her shoulders sag, and she sinks down onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. Because I wanted to hurt you, she whispers, her voice broken. I wanted you to feel the same pain I felt. I wanted to make you pay. I sit down across from her, my mind reeling. All this time I've been fighting a ghost, an illusion she created to destroy me. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I thought if I made you believe I cheated, you'd finally understand what you did to me, she continues, her voice muffled by her hands. I thought it would make you feel the same betrayal, the same heartbreak. But it didn't work. It just made everything worse. I stare at her, my anger draining away, replaced by a deep, aching sadness. You didn't need to do this, Sarah. We could have worked through it. We could have. No, she says, cutting me off, her voice filled with despair. We couldn't. Not after what you did. Not after everything we lost. There's nothing left to say. We sit there in silence, the weight of our shared misery pressing down on us, suffocating us. The realization that we've both been manipulated by our own fears, our own pain, leaves me hollow and numb. She eventually looks up, her face streaked with tears, her eyes red and swollen. What do we do now? She asks, her voice small and broken. I don't have an answer. I don't know how to fix this, how to undo the damage we've done to each other. All I know is that the life we once had is gone, shattered beyond repair. We end this, I finally say, my voice heavy with resignation. We stop fighting, stop trying to destroy each other. We walk away before there's nothing left. She nods, her expression one of weary acceptance. And then what? We start over, I say, though I'm not sure I believe it myself. We move on, separately. She closes her eyes, a single tear sliding down her cheek. I loved you, Greg. I really did. I loved you too, I say, the words bitter in my mouth. But love wasn't enough, was it? She shakes her head, her lips trembling. No, it wasn't. We sit there for a long time, the silence between us no longer hostile, but filled with the weight of all we've lost. The fight is over, but there's no victory here. Only defeat. Only the realization that we've both been playing a game we were destined to lose. I stand up, feeling the need to escape, to get away from this house, this life that's become a prison. I'm going to pack a bag, I say, my voice hollow. I'll be back in the morning to talk about the next steps. She doesn't respond, just stares at the floor, lost in her own world of pain. As I turn to leave, I feel a flicker of something inside me. A defiance, a determination to rebuild what's left of my life, even if it means starting from nothing. I may have lost this battle, but I'm not done fighting. Not yet. Not ever. The house is dead quiet as I pack my things. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of clothing sounds too loud in the stillness. My mind is a whirlwind of anger, regret, and a desperate need to reclaim some sense of control. The truth Sarah revealed has left me shaken, but it's also sparked something inside me, an urgent determination to fight back, to rebuild the life she's tried to tear apart. I toss a few more shirts into the suitcase, not caring if they wrinkle. My phone buzzes on the nightstand and I grab it without looking at the caller ID. Greg, it's Bill. My lawyer's voice is tense. I've been digging into Sarah's past, like you asked. We've found some things that could be useful, but I need to warn you, this is going to get messy. If we use this information, there's no going back. What did you find? I ask, my heart pounding. I need something, anything, that gives me the upper hand. There's more to that scandal from 10 years ago than we thought, Bill says. It wasn't just financial misconduct. There's evidence she coerced a junior partner to take the fall for her. If we expose this, it could destroy her credibility in court. I pause, the weight of what he's saying sinking in. This could be the leverage I need to turn the tide, but at what cost? If this goes public, it won't just ruin her. It could destroy what's left of our family's privacy. Greg, Bill continues, you need to think about what you want. We can play this card, but it'll come with a price. The media will latch onto it, and it'll be a feeding frenzy. You need to be sure. I take a deep breath, staring out the window at the darkened street below. Do it, I say finally, my voice steady. We have no other choice. If she's going to drag me through the mud, I'm not going down without a fight. All right, Bill replies, I'll start the process. But be prepared for the backlash. This isn't going to be pretty. I know, I say, ending the call. I slip the phone into my pocket and finish packing. I can't stay here tonight. The tension is suffocating, and I need space to think, to plan my next move. As I zip up the suitcase, I hear the front door open. Sarah's back. I freeze, waiting for her footsteps, but she doesn't come upstairs. Instead, I hear her in the kitchen, moving around, the clink of glass against the counter. I know I should just leave, avoid another confrontation, but something inside me snaps. I can't walk away. Not now. Not without saying my piece. I head downstairs, my footsteps deliberate, each step echoing in the silence. When I reach the kitchen, she's pouring herself a drink, her back to me. She doesn't acknowledge my presence, but I know she's aware I'm there. Sarah, I say, my voice sharp. She stiffens slightly, but doesn't turn around. I can feel the anger bubbling up inside me, hot and insistent. We need to talk. She finally turns, her expression blank. About what? Haven't we said everything there is to say? No, I reply, stepping closer. We haven't. I'm not letting you destroy me without a fight. She takes a sip of her drink, her eyes never leaving mine. And what do you plan to do, Greg? Threaten me again? Try to blackmail me? You've already played your hand. You have no idea what I'm capable of, I say, my voice low. You think you can manipulate me, but you're not the only one who knows how to play dirty. She arches an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. Is that supposed to scare me? It's not a threat, Sarah. It's a promise. You want to ruin me? Fine, but I'll take you down with me. She stares at me for a long moment, then sets her glass down with a deliberate clink. You're a pathetic man, Greg. You're scrambling to hold on to whatever power you think you have left. But it's gone. I've already won. Don't be so sure, I say, stepping closer until we're only inches apart. The tension between us is electric, the air thick with unspoken threats. You made one mistake, Sarah. You underestimated me. Did I? She asks, her voice a whisper, her lips so close I can feel her breath on my skin. Before I can respond, she reaches up and grabs the front of my shirt, pulling me down into a kiss. It's fierce, almost violent, her nails digging into my chest. For a moment, I'm too shocked to react, but then I kiss her back, all the anger and frustration pouring into it. The kiss is a battle, a clash of wills. Her hands tangle in my hair, pulling hard, and I grip her waist, dragging her closer until there's no space between us. It's not about love or even lust. It's about power, control. Each of us trying to dominate the other, to come out on top. When she finally pulls away, we're both breathing hard, our faces inches apart. Her eyes are dark, challenging, and there's a smirk playing on her lips. You think this changes anything? She asks, her voice husky. No, I say, my voice equally rough. But it reminds me that this isn't over. Not by a long shot. She steps back, her expression hardening. Get out, Greg. Go crawl back to whatever hole you came from. I grab my suitcase, my heart pounding, every nerve on edge. This isn't the end, Sarah. Not even close. I leave the house, slamming the door behind me. Outside, the night air is cool against my heated skin, but it does nothing to calm the storm inside me. The kiss still lingers on my lips, a reminder of the tangled mess of emotions that ties us together. But I push it away. There's no time for weakness, not now. Over the next few days, I throw myself into preparing for the trial. Bill and I work around the clock, gathering every piece of evidence, every shred of information that could tip the scales in my favor. The scandal from Sarah's past is our ace in the hole, but we need more. We need to paint a picture of her as the manipulator, the one who orchestrated this whole mess. It's exhausting, but it's also the only thing keeping me going. The media is relentless, and the public is eating up every new detail of our dirty laundry. I can't even step outside without being hounded by reporters, their cameras flashing, their questions invasive and accusatory. Mr. Thompson, how do you respond to the allegations? Is it true your wife is seeking full custody? Do you have any comment on the latest revelations? I ignore them all, my jaw clenched as I push past them. I can't afford to lose focus, not when so much is at stake. But the stress is taking its toll. My sleep is fitful, my dreams plagued by nightmares of losing everything. My kids, my business, my reputation. I wake up in a cold sweat, the fear gripping me like a vice, but I force myself to push through it. I don't have the luxury of falling apart. Then just when I think I can't take anymore, Bill calls with news. We've got her, Greg. One of the people involved in that old scandal is willing to testify. They're willing to expose her for what she did. I lean back in my chair, a wave of relief washing over me. That's it then. We have her. Not quite, Bill cautions. This person isn't exactly clean. They've got their own skeletons, and if this goes public, it could backfire. But it's a strong move. It'll force her to either back down or risk everything. Do it, I say, the decision made in an instant. I don't care about the risks. We need to win this. As the trial date approaches, I feel a grim sense of anticipation. This is it, the moment everything comes to a head. The media is buzzing, the tension is palpable, and both sides are preparing for a battle that will leave one of us broken. The night before the trial, I find myself unable to sleep. I pace the floor of my empty apartment, the silence oppressive. The memory of that kiss with Sarah keeps playing in my mind, The way it felt like a challenge, a promise of what was to come. I shake it off, focusing on the task ahead. There's no room for distraction, no room for doubt. I have to win this. I have to reclaim my life, my dignity, whatever it takes. The next morning, I dress in my best suit, the fabric stiff and uncomfortable against my skin. My reflection in the mirror is of a man on the edge, but beneath the surface, there's a flicker of something else, defiance, resolve. I'm ready for this. As I step into the courtroom, the weight of what's at stake presses down on me. The air is thick with tension. The eyes of everyone in the room locked on me and Sarah. This is it, the final showdown. And no matter what happens, I'm not going down without a fight. The courtroom is packed. The air is thick with tension, a palpable weight pressing down on everyone inside. I stand at the defendant's table, my lawyer Bill beside me, his expression grim but determined. Across the room, Sarah sits with her legal team, her face a mask of calm, but I know her too well. Beneath that serene exterior, she's just as tense as I am. This is it, the moment everything comes to a head. The judge enters, and we all rise. My heart pounds in my chest, my breath tight in my throat. This trial isn't just about the divorce, the money, or even the kids. It's about survival, about who walks away with their life intact and who gets destroyed. As the proceedings begin, I focus on every word, every detail. The opening arguments are brutal. Sarah's lawyer paints me as a monster, volatile, unfaithful, unfit to be a father. They dredge up every mistake I've made, every misstep, every indiscretion. The media is eating it up, their cameras flashing, their pens scratching furiously. But Bill is ready. He counters with evidence of Sarah's manipulations, her lies, her calculated moves to ruin me. He introduces the scandal from her past, the coercion, the cover-up. It's a bombshell, and I can see the shock ripple through the courtroom. Sarah's calm demeanor falters just for a moment, but it's enough. We've struck a nerve. As the trial progresses, the tension only grows. Witnesses are called, testimonies given. It's a vicious back and forth, each side trying to outmaneuver the other. The media paints it as a spectacle, a high-stakes drama unfolding in real time. But for me, it's hell. Every day in that courtroom feels like a battle for my life. The stress is overwhelming. The constant scrutiny, the relentless questioning. I can barely sleep, barely eat. My mind is consumed with the trial, the fear of losing everything. But beneath the fear is a flicker of defiance. I've come this far. I can't give up now. Then comes the day Sarah's last trick is revealed. I should have seen it coming. She's too smart, too ruthless to let me have the upper hand for long. It happens during cross-examination. Bill is questioning one of Sarah's former colleagues, digging into the details of the scandal. The witness is nervous, clearly uncomfortable. But then Sarah's lawyer stands up, objection ready, and the whole trial takes a sharp turn. "Your Honor," Sarah's lawyer says, her voice cutting through the courtroom like a knife, "we have new evidence that directly contradicts Mr. Thompson's claims." My stomach drops. What the hell is she talking about? The judge allows it, and a new document is presented. It's a deposition from someone I'd never expected, someone from my past, an old business partner. The document is damning. It outlines shady deals, unethical practices, all connected to me. It's not true, at least not entirely, but it's close enough to the truth that it's damaging. Bill tries to object, to discredit the witness, but the damage is done. The media pounces, the courtroom buzzing with murmurs. Sarah's lawyer turns to me, a smug smile on her face. She knows she's landed a serious blow. My mind races. How did they find this? Who sold me out? I glance at Sarah, but she doesn't look at me. She's staring straight ahead, her expression unreadable. But I know her well enough to see the satisfaction in the slight curve of her lips. She's played me again. The rest of the trial is a blur. I'm in a daze, my mind spinning with the implications of this new evidence. Bill does his best to mitigate the damage, to redirect the focus back to Sarah's lies. But it's an uphill battle. The courtroom is no longer on our side. When the closing arguments are finally made, I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting for the ground to give way beneath me. The judge announces that a verdict will be reached the next day, and the courtroom empties out, the tension still hanging in the air. I leave the courthouse feeling numb, my thoughts a tangled mess. I've fought so hard, done everything I could, but it might not be enough. Sarah's too good at this game. She's always been 2 steps ahead, and now she's delivered a blow that could ruin everything. Back at my apartment, I collapse onto the couch, staring blankly at the ceiling. The walls feel like they're closing in on me, the weight of everything pressing down until I can barely breathe. The silence is deafening, the anxiety gnawing at my insides. I try to calm myself, to think clearly, but it's impossible. The trial has taken everything out of me. I'm exhausted, both physically and mentally, and the fear of losing everything is suffocating. But in the midst of the despair, a thought begins to take shape. It's faint at first, just a flicker in the back of my mind, but it grows stronger, more insistent. It's the realization that I've been playing Sarah's game all along, following her rules, trying to beat her at her own game. And that's where I'm going wrong. I've been so focused on winning, on destroying her, that I've lost sight of what really matters. I've let her drag me down to her level, let her control the narrative. But it doesn't have to be that way. I can choose a different path. I sit up, the thought crystallizing in my mind. Maybe I don't need to win this trial. Maybe winning isn't the point anymore. Maybe what matters is walking away with something more important than money or custody or reputation. Maybe what matters is walking away with my dignity. The next morning, I arrive at the courthouse with a new sense of resolve. The media is there, as always, their cameras and microphones thrust in my face, but I ignore them. My focus clear. This is it, the final act. In the courtroom, I take my seat, glancing briefly at Sarah. She's poised, confident, but I can see the tension in her eyes. She knows this is the end game. The judge enters, and the room falls silent. The verdict is read, the words echoing in the stillness. The judge's voice is calm, measured, but each word feels like a hammer blow. Custody is awarded to Sarah. The assets are divided, with Sarah getting the majority. My reputation is left in tatters. The new evidence enough to tarnish me in the eyes of the court, if not completely destroy me. But as the judge speaks, I feel a strange sense of calm. I've lost the trial, but I haven't lost myself. I can see that now. This trial was never about justice. It was about power, control, revenge. And in that sense, maybe Sarah has won, but I'm not beaten. When the judge finishes, there's a moment of silence, a collective breath held in anticipation, then slowly I stand. All eyes are on me, the weight of the moment pressing down, but I feel light, unburdened. I turn to face Sarah. Her eyes meet mine, and for the first time in months, there's no anger, no resentment in my gaze, just clarity. This is over, I say, my voice steady. We've both lost more than we ever imagined, and there's no going back. But I'm done fighting. I'm done letting this destroy me. She stares at me, surprised, maybe even shaken, but she says nothing. There's nothing left to say. I walk out of the courtroom, the noise of the media a distant hum in my ears. The sun is shining outside, the sky clear and blue. For the first time in a long while, I feel like I can breathe again. I've lost the trial, but I've found something more important. A sense of freedom, a release from the toxic battle that's consumed me for so long. And with that comes the knowledge that I can rebuild, that I can start over. I walk away from the courthouse, leaving behind the wreckage of my old life. The road ahead won't be easy. It'll be filled with challenges, with the ghosts of my past haunting every step. But it's my road, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control of my own destiny. The fight is over, but my journey is just beginning. The days after the trial blur together. The adrenaline that kept me going is gone, leaving me hollow and exhausted. I walk through the wreckage of my life, surveying the damage with a strange detachment. The divorce is final. the assets divided, the custody battle lost. Sarah has what she wanted, or at least what she thought she wanted. But even as I sit alone in my empty apartment, there's no sense of defeat, no crushing despair, just a quiet, almost peaceful resignation. I reflect on everything that's happened, all the choices that led me here. My arrogance, my selfishness, my need to control everything, hey, they're what brought me to this point. I've spent years hiding behind a facade of success and confidence, convincing myself that I was invincible, that I could have it all without consequences. But life doesn't work that way. There's always a price to pay, and I've paid mine. In the silence of my apartment, I think about Sarah. She was right in so many ways. I did take her for granted. I did betray her trust. But she's not blameless either. The lies, the manipulation, the calculated destruction, it wasn't just about revenge. It was about power, about winning at all costs. We both let our worst instincts take over, and in the end, we destroyed each other. But there's something else, too, something I hadn't expected, a sense of relief. The constant tension, the need to maintain control, the endless game of one-upmanship, it's all gone now. I don't have to fight anymore, don't have to prove anything to anyone. I can just be. For the first time in years, I feel like I can breathe. I start thinking about the future. It's daunting, starting over at my age, with my reputation in shambles, my finances drained, but it's also a chance to do things differently, to learn from the mistakes I've made. I can rebuild, piece by piece, slowly and carefully. I can be smarter, more cautious, more aware of my own flaws. I meet with Bill one last time to tie up the loose ends. He's professional as always, but there's a hint of sympathy in his eyes. "What will you do now?" he asks as we finish up. "I don't know," I admit, "but I'm not in a hurry to figure it out. I think I need to take some time, clear my head." He nods. "That's probably wise. You've been through a lot." I leave his office feeling lighter, like a weight has been lifted. I don't have a plan, but that's okay. I've spent my whole life planning, controlling, trying to predict every outcome. Maybe it's time to let go of that, to see where life takes me for a change. A few days later, I pack a bag and leave the city. I don't have a destination in mind, just the need to get away, to put some distance between me and everything that's happened. I drive aimlessly for hours, the road stretching out before me, endless and full of possibilities. As the sun sets, I find myself on a quiet beach, the waves lapping gently at the shore. I sit on the sand watching the water, the horizon fading into darkness. It's peaceful here, the kind of peace I haven't felt in a long time. I close my eyes, listening to the rhythm of the ocean, feeling the cool breeze against my skin. I think about Sarah, about the life we built and then tore apart. There's sadness, of course, but also acceptance. We weren't meant to last, not the way we were. Maybe we could have been different, maybe not. But what's done is done. All I can do now is learn from it, try to be better. The future is uncertain, but it's also full of potential. I don't know what's next, but for the first time, that doesn't scare me. I'm ready to face whatever comes, to build something new from the ashes of my old life. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. As I sit there, watching the last light fade from the sky, I feel a quiet sense of hope. It's faint, just a flicker, but it's there. I've been through hell, but I've come out the other side. Scarred, yes, but not defeated. There's still time, still a chance to make something of myself, to find a new path. I stand up, brushing the sand from my clothes, and take a deep breath. The air is crisp and cool, filling my lungs with a sense of renewal. I don't know where the road will take me, but I'm ready to find out. I walk back to my car, the sound of the waves fading behind me. As I start the engine and pull onto the road, I feel a strange sense of calm, a quiet determination. The past is behind me, the future ahead. All I have to do is keep moving forward, and so I drive, into the night, into whatever comes next.